How many times have you stayed silent, pretending to smile while something inside you was burning? How often have you heard, "It's just a joke," when it actually hurt? Today, I want to tell you something important. You don't have to tolerate this from anyone. Yes, you heard me right, anyone. Disrespect, emotional manipulation. Those jokes that only hurt in disguise. Enough is enough. The Stoics knew this well. We can't control what others do, but we can choose how to react. And you? Will you continue tolerating those small offenses that strike at your dignity over and over again? Every time you let a hurtful comment slide, every time you accept disrespect, it's like giving away a little piece of yourself. Is that what you want? Because let me tell you something, my friend, your dignity is priceless. So today, I invite you to reflect. Will you keep swallowing poison in silence, or will you start setting boundaries? This video is for you if you're tired of those toxic behaviors. I'm bringing you 10 silent actions you should never tolerate from anyone under any circumstance. And trust me, the last one on the list will surprise you. But before we dive in, pay attention to this story that will help you better understand the wisdom behind these ideas. The story of Veen. In a small town by the sea, there was a man named Veen. He wasn't the most outspoken or the quickest to anger, but there was something undeniable about him. He had an almost magnetic presence. People would often try to test him, mock him, or challenge him, expecting him to rise to the bait. But Veen had mastered the art of silence, and he never gave anyone the satisfaction of a reaction. Veen had learned from his father, a quiet fisherman who worked the shores every day. "The storm may roar, but the ocean remains still," his father used to say. These words, simple yet profound, echoed in Veen's mind. It wasn't about avoiding confrontation, but about having the inner strength to remain calm amidst the chaos. One afternoon, as Veen walked through the town square, a group of young men began taunting him. They mocked his simple clothes, his modest job, and even his quiet demeanor. They shouted insults, thinking they could provoke him. The crowd gathered, waiting for Veen to snap, to say something, anything that would show he was bothered. But Veen did not speak. He simply stood there, looking into the distance, as if the insults were nothing more than a breeze brushing past him. He didn't flinch, didn't defend himself. The crowd grew uneasy. The young men grew louder, trying to get under his skin. But Veen remained unfazed. Soon, one of the young men, frustrated by the lack of reaction, took a step forward and shouted, "What's the matter? Too scared to speak? Or are you just too weak to defend yourself?" Still, Veen said nothing. He took a deep breath and turned, walking away calmly, as if the entire scene hadn't even happened. His silence, the strength in his unbothered demeanor, left the crowd in stunned silence. The young men exchanged confused looks, unsure of how to process what they had just witnessed. The next day, the town gossip spread about how Veen had been mocked, and yet he hadn't reacted at all. Some said he was too proud to care, others said he was just a coward. But as the days passed, the young men began to feel something different, a growing discomfort. They had tried to provoke him, yet it was they who felt disturbed. Veen's silence had done something none of their insults could ever achieve. It made them question themselves. Weeks later, one of the young men approached Veen in the quiet of the evening. He looked at him with a mix of curiosity and respect. "Why didn't you fight back? Why didn't you say anything?" he asked. Veen smiled, looking out at the sea. "Fighting with words is like trying to calm a storm by shouting at it. True strength is in knowing when not to engage. My peace is more important than their noise." The young man nodded, a new understanding dawning on him. From that day on, the town's perspective of Veen shifted. His silence had not been weakness, but wisdom, and those who once tried to disrespect him began to see that it was not Veen who had been defeated, but their own empty words that had failed to reach him. Violent story teaches us the power of silence in the face of disrespect. When people try to provoke you, respond with calmness. For it is in not reacting that you show your true strength. Silence is not weakness, it is the quiet force that unsettles those who wish to see you falter. Before we dive into the first lesson, if you find these videos helpful, I encourage you to subscribe and turn on notifications to stay updated with the latest content. Number 1. The stone face technique. Have you ever noticed how we often let other people's words and actions control our emotions? It's as if we're standing at the edge of a cliff, allowing every criticism to push us closer to the edge. But what if I told you that you don't need to fall every time someone throws a stone at you? Imagine you're an ancient fortress, standing tall and unshaken against the wind and storms. That's the power of the stone face technique. No matter what's thrown at you, you remain unmoved, silent and strong. Think of life as a battleground. Every day people will throw darts at you, some intentional, some careless, but it's up to you whether those darts pierce you. The stone face is about building an invisible shield. When someone insults you or tries to provoke a reaction, instead of flinching, you become like the stone, solid, firm and unaffected by the chaos around you. It's like you're in the middle of a storm, but you're the calm eye, untouched by the whirlwind. The beauty of this technique is that it takes away their power. The moment you show a reaction, whether anger or hurt, you're giving them control over your emotions. But when you give them nothing, their words become like arrows lost in the wind. The Stoics believed that we cannot control the actions of others, but we have complete authority over how we respond. So why let someone else's words set your emotional state? With the stone face, you control the narrative. Imagine this: someone insults you, expecting to see you snap, but instead, you meet them with a stone-cold silence, no raised eyebrows, no clenched fists, no emotional outbursts. You stand there like an ancient statue weathered by centuries of storms, unfazed and unflinching. What happens? Their words lose their power, and they're left searching for a response that doesn't exist. It's like trying to strike a match against a stone. It just won't catch. Here's how to master the stone face technique. Master your breathing. The first instinct when provoked is often to tense up. It's like an instinctive reaction, a knot in your stomach, a tightening of your chest. But instead of surrendering to it, pause and breathe deeply. Focus on each inhale and exhale, grounding yourself in the present. This creates an inner calm that no insult can disturb. Neutralize your expression. Your face is like a blank canvas. Keep it relaxed and free of tension. Don't let the winds of anger or frustration paint any reaction on it. Instead, be like a mountain, still, solid, and unmoving. Focus on inner control. Think of your inner peace like a deep ocean. The surface might be disturbed by waves of criticism, but beneath that, it remains calm and undisturbed. Remind yourself that no external force can affect the deep current of your emotions unless you allow it. Practice in everyday life. Start small. Maybe someone cuts you off in traffic or a stranger says something rude. Instead of reacting, practice holding that stone face. Each small victory strengthens your ability to remain unshaken in bigger, more difficult situations. When you adopt this technique, something remarkable happens. Those who despise you will no longer have power over your emotions. They'll try again and again to provoke you, but each time they'll be met with the same solid, unflinching response. It's like trying to break a rock with a hammer. It's exhausting and futile. Over time, they'll realize that they can't rattle you, and their attempts to undermine you will fall away like dead leaves in the wind. So, are you ready to stand strong and face the storm with a calm, stone-like demeanor? Practice the stone face and watch how your silent strength starts to change the way others perceive you. Stay tuned for the next action, which will take your resilience even further. Number 2, you don't need anyone's approval. Have you ever noticed how we often spend our lives seeking validation from others? It's like we're holding a mirror to the world, waiting for someone else to say, "Yes, you're good enough." But what if I told you that the only reflection that truly matters is the one you see in your own eyes? Imagine you're standing at the top of a mountain, looking out over the vast horizon. The only approval you need is your own. Everything else? It's just background noise. Think about how often we tailor our actions, our words, even our dreams, just to fit someone else's expectations. It's like we're painting a picture, but instead of using our own brush, we're using the strokes of others' opinions. But in doing so, we miss the beauty of the masterpiece we could create on our own. The Stoic philosophers teach us that external validation is fleeting, and relying on it is like trying to build a house on sand. It shifts, it crumbles, and it leaves you standing in uncertainty. But when you rely on your own internal compass, when you draw from your own sense of purpose, that's when you truly find stability. The stone face technique we talked about earlier isn't just about silence. It's about owning your own response, your own truth, without waiting for permission from anyone else. Let's face it, the moment you stop seeking approval is the moment you truly start living. It's like walking into a room full of people and not caring whether they're watching or not. You're no longer waiting for a nod, a smile, or a compliment. Instead, you're walking to your own rhythm, knowing that the only applause that matters is the one you give yourself. Here's how to start living without needing approval. Trust your inner voice. Think of your inner voice as your guide. It's not loud, but it's steady, clear, and unwavering. When you stop seeking external validation, you start listening to it more closely. Trust that voice. It knows what's best for you. Let go of perfection. The need for approval often comes from our desire to be perfect in the eyes of others. But perfection is like chasing a mirage. You can see it, but you'll never quite reach it. Instead, embrace your imperfections. They make you unique and real. Embrace your journey. Your path is yours alone. It doesn't need to align with anyone else's timeline or expectations. Stop looking at others' journeys as a benchmark for your own. The moment you stop comparing, you can start truly enjoying the ride. Surround yourself with genuine support. While you don't need approval, you do need support from people who understand and respect you for who you are. These people are your anchors. They don't judge, they encourage you to be your true self. Imagine this, you walk into a room filled with people, and instead of looking for approval, you smile confidently, knowing that you are enough, just as you are. Your power lies in your own ability to approve of yourself first. The more you do this, the less you'll be swayed by others' opinions. You will become the architect of your own happiness, building a life based on your terms, not theirs. So, are you ready to stop waiting for someone else's stamp of approval? Embrace the freedom that comes from knowing you are enough. Your journey is yours alone, and that's all the validation you need. Stay tuned for more powerful actions that will help you unlock the next level of personal freedom and strength. Number 3, the ghosting method. Have you ever encountered someone who thrives on dragging you into their drama? It's like they're a mosquito buzzing around, trying to drain your energy with every interaction. But what if I told you there's a simple way to stop the buzzing altogether? Enter the ghosting method, silently disappearing without confrontation, leaving their chaos behind while reclaiming your peace. Imagine someone shouting your name in a crowded room, hoping you'll turn and engage. Instead, you walk away, calm and unbothered, as though their voice doesn't even exist. They're left standing there, flustered and powerless, unable to pull you into their negativity. That's the power of ghosting. It's like vanishing into thin air, cutting off their ability to affect you while preserving your emotional energy. The brilliance of ghosting lies in its quiet strength. Stoic philosophy reminds us that while we can't control others, we can always control how we respond. Engaging with negativity is like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. It only makes things worse. Ghosting isn't about avoidance. It's about protecting your peace by walking away from those who drain you. It's choosing to rise above their noise and chaos without giving them the satisfaction of a reaction. Here's how to master the ghosting method. 1. Recognize the drama. Some people are like clouds on a sunny day, determined to cast a shadow. They criticize, manipulate, or stir up conflict just to provoke you. Recognize these patterns and refuse to engage. Think of their words as pebbles thrown into a still pond. If you stay calm, the ripples never last. 2. Cut the tie. Once you've identified a toxic person, remove them from your life. Block them, unfollow them, or stop responding altogether. It's like weeding a garden. Pulling out the harmful plants clears space for your flowers to thrive. By ghosting them, you take back control of your mental and emotional environment. 3. Don't look back. After ghosting, resist the urge to glance in the rearview mirror. Looking back is like reopening a door you've already closed. It only invites their chaos to return. Remember, you've chosen this path to protect your peace, not to explain yourself. 4. Focus on your growth. Ghosting creates space for what truly matters, your passions, goals, and supportive relationships. It's like opening the windows in a dark, musty room and letting the sunlight flood in. With the negativity gone, your life feels lighter, brighter, and more expansive. The ghosting method isn't about cowardice, it's about self-respect. By walking away from those who drain your energy, you send a clear message. My peace is priceless. So next time someone tries to pull you into their storm, vanish like mist on a sunny morning and watch how your world transforms for the better. Number 4, dedication is your best revenge. Have you ever felt that burning desire to get back at someone who's wronged you? It's like a fire inside, urging you to take action, to make them feel what you felt. But what if I told you that the most powerful form of revenge isn't retaliation, but dedication? Just as a river carves through rock over time, your consistent focus on growth and success will leave an indelible mark on your life. And it's the best revenge you can give. Imagine this: someone insults you, questions your abilities, or belittles your dreams. The instinct is to strike back, to prove them wrong immediately. But what if, instead of letting their words dictate your response, you focused all your energy on your personal growth? It's like building a towering skyscraper while they're stuck trying to repair a cracked foundation. Over time, they'll watch as your success rises higher, but you won't need to say a word. Your dedication to your goals will be the loudest answer to their doubts. Let's break this down. Suppose someone questions your potential, laughs off your ambitions, or even sabotages your efforts. It's tempting to get caught up in their negativity, but imagine channeling that energy into something constructive. Think of it as planting seeds in a garden. Each act of dedication is like watering a plant. Each step forward is like sunlight nurturing it. The result? You watch your garden bloom while they remain in the weeds of their own negativity. Stoic philosophy teaches us that we can't control how others treat us, but we do have control over how we respond. Seeking revenge is like chasing a mirage. It may feel satisfying in the moment, but it leaves you empty in the end. Instead, by dedicating yourself to your goals, you build a life that speaks volumes without needing to engage in the petty drama. Like a quiet mountain standing firm against the wind, your unwavering focus on success becomes the ultimate form of revenge. To put this into practice, start by shifting your focus. When life throws insults your way, don't react in anger. Instead, use that energy to push yourself further. It's like forging a sword in fire. The heat of the moment can either destroy you or shape you into something stronger. Channel that intensity into something that helps you grow, whether it's advancing in your career, developing a new skill, or improving your mindset. Let your dedication become the proof of your strength. In your journey, remember this: dedication is the engine that drives you, and your success is the fuel. You don't need to answer negativity with more negativity. Instead, invest in your growth and watch your success shine brighter than any petty comment ever could. The more you dedicate yourself, the more you'll see that the greatest revenge isn't in proving them wrong. It's in proving to yourself that your best revenge is creating the life they never imagined for you. So, are you ready to make dedication your best revenge? Like a river that wears down mountains over time, your focused dedication will carve a path to success that no one can take from you. Start today and let your journey be the ultimate answer. Number 5, never settle for anything less than your worth. Have you ever found yourself settling for less than what you truly deserve? It's like buying a half-empty cup of coffee when you know there's a full pot right next to you. We've all been there at some point, whether it's in relationships, work, or our own personal growth. The reality is, according to Stoic philosophy, settling for less than your worth is a disservice to your potential. Let me explain why settling isn't just a missed opportunity, it's a betrayal of your true value. Imagine you're in a store standing in front of two different products. One is top quality, a product that will serve you for years, and the other is cheap and poorly made. Most of us would pick the top quality item, right? But what happens when we treat ourselves like that second, inferior product? Every time you settle for less, it's like choosing the cheap option instead of investing in your worth. Over time, you realize that the cheap choice wasn't the deal, it was the trap. Settling leaves you with a life that feels incomplete, unsatisfying, and constantly searching for something more. Let's put this into real-world terms. Suppose you've been offered a job that's beneath your skills, pays less than what you deserve, and doesn't align with your passion. On one hand, it's easier to accept it. After all, it's something. But by doing so, you're choosing the cheap option in life. You're telling yourself that you don't deserve the best, when in reality, you're capable of far more. It's like settling for a broken bridge when you could be crossing an open highway to success. Here's the trick. When you settle for less than your worth, you're not just losing out on opportunities. You're setting a precedent for how others treat you. If you accept less, you teach others to expect less from you. But when you stand firm and demand what you truly deserve, it's like setting a standard that everyone else will follow. The universe responds to how you value yourself. If you accept nothing less than your worth, you attract people, opportunities, and situations that align with that high standard. Now, I'm not saying you should turn down everything just because it's not perfect. It's not about being picky. It's about recognizing your value and never compromising that for anything or anyone. Think of your worth as a priceless gem. Once you understand its value, you won't allow anyone to treat it like a pebble. To put this into practice, start by evaluating areas in your life where you've been settling. Are you in a relationship that doesn't value you? Are you in a job that doesn't challenge you? Are you letting people take advantage of your time or energy? Recognizing where you're settling is the first step in breaking free from it. So, are you ready to stop settling for less than you deserve? Stand firm in your value and don't accept anything that doesn't honor your worth. Like a tree that refuses to be bent by the wind, your commitment to your own value will help you grow into the best version of yourself. Never settle, because when you demand what you're worth, life will give you just that. Number 6, the wait it out strategy. Have you ever been insulted or criticized and felt the urge to strike back immediately? It's like standing in a rainstorm and wanting to shout at the clouds, hoping they'll stop pouring. But here's the thing, the best response to the storm is simply to let it pass. The wait-it-out strategy is about using silence as your strongest shield, turning their words into empty echoes. Imagine someone throwing a dart at you, expecting it to hit and cause pain. Instead of reacting, you step aside and let it miss. Their insult lands nowhere, leaving them frustrated and off balance. This is the power of silence. It disarms negativity without you having to lift a finger. Think of yourself as a mountain, standing firm and immovable. No matter how fierce the wind blows or how loud the thunder roars, the mountain remains unchanged. When someone tries to provoke you, your silence becomes that mountain, an unshakable force that speaks volumes without uttering a single word. Here's how you can master the wait-it-out strategy. Pause before reacting. When someone hurls an insult, resist the urge to fire back. Take a deep breath. It's like pressing the pause button in a chaotic scene, giving you control over the next moment. This pause doesn't just cool your emotions, it unsettles the person who insulted you. Let silence do the talking. Silence is like a mirror. When you don't respond, it forces the other person to reflect on their own words. The longer the silence lingers, the heavier their insult feels, as if they're holding a weight they expected you to carry. Decide if a response is necessary. Not every insult deserves your energy. Ask yourself, is this worth my time? Silence is a way of walking away from a fire without adding fuel. It's like leaving a match unlit. It can't harm you if you don't engage. Watch the power shift. Your silence is like an unyielding wall. The more they push, the more they realize they can't break through. Their attempts to provoke you fade into awkwardness, leaving them powerless and you in control. Mastering the wait-it-out strategy transforms silence into your greatest ally. It's not about avoiding conflict, but about showing that you're above petty provocations. So next time someone throws words like stones, be the still lake. Let the ripples settle and leave them wondering why their storm didn't shake you. Number 7, surround yourself with people who value you. Have you ever thought about how the people around you shape the energy in your life? If you believe this sounds like another overused self-help idea, let me offer you a more grounded perspective. The reality is that according to Stoic philosophy, who you spend your time with directly impacts your emotional well-being and inner peace. Let me explain how the people in your life truly affect your experience of the world. Imagine you're choosing between a group of friends. One group lifts you up, motivates you, and shares your values. The other group constantly drains your energy, belittles your ambitions, and focuses on negativity. Most of us would pick the uplifting group, right? But here's the catch. Your emotional and mental state is like that group of friends. If you spend time with people who don't appreciate you, it's like constantly surrounding yourself with negative influences. The result? A life filled with doubts and struggles, instead of joy and growth. Let's put this into a more practical context. Suppose you spend most of your time with people who criticize your dreams or laugh off your goals. Over time, this negativity seeps into your own mindset. You might start doubting yourself or second-guessing your ambitions. It's almost as if the universe responds, "Oh, you want to hold back? Perfect. Let's create more obstacles." Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting that you can magically change your entire social circle overnight. It's not about avoiding people who challenge you. It's about avoiding people who constantly drain you. Surrounding yourself with those who value you is like choosing the right fuel for your car. If you're constantly filling up with the wrong kind of energy, you won't get very far. But when you surround yourself with those who respect and uplift you, your journey becomes smoother and more fulfilling. To make this practical, start by evaluating your relationships. Are you spending more time with people who support and respect you, or with those who keep you stuck in negativity? Recognizing the difference is the first step toward positive change. If you find yourself surrounded by people who bring you down, it might be time to distance yourself. Start seeking out those who appreciate your worth and who help you grow. In your journey, focus on building relationships with people who value you. They're the ones who help you unlock your potential, just like a healthy environment helps a plant thrive. Surround yourself with people who motivate you, who celebrate your victories, and who help you overcome challenges. So, are you ready to make the change? Start surrounding yourself with people who uplift you, and watch how your life transforms. It's not about avoiding negativity, but about intentionally choosing the people who make you feel strong, valued, and capable of achieving your dreams.